Double check, Ray, because I think they had a screen up.
They
Like
did.
a matter of,
The presentation.
yeah, but no, it's from this. Are we gonna go on? Oops. Who says it's on?
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call the special meeting of August 29th, 2022 to order at 7 p.m. If everyone would please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and remain standing after the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Unfortunately, the city of Crest lost a dear friend last week. Alderwoman Linda Streisig passed away after a long health battle with ALS. Linda was appointed on June 28th of 1993 by Mayor Randich to fill an open seat in Ward 4. Served those 2 years, ran for an election, and successfully won, and was took the seat on May 1st of 1995, served for 4 years through 1999. She served 6 years as Alderwoman of Ward 4. She was appointed to the Plan Commission in May of 2010, and she served for 11 years through 2021 as a Plan Commission member. So we certainly want to offer our condolences to the Streisig family, to her son, daughter, mother, sisters, and the rest of the Streisig family. We certainly want to thank her for the years of service that she gave to the city of Crest Hill. And I would ask for a moment of silence in her honor. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Ray Solomon.
Here.
Glenn Conklin.
Present.
Scott Dyke.
Here.
John Rashay.
Here.
Darrell Jefferson. Claudia Gazal.
Here.
Tina Oberlin.
Present.
Mark Sepiti.
Here.
Nate Albert.
Here.
And Joe Kuba.
Here.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Alderman Jefferson did contact us. He's running a little late. Not sure if he will make this meeting or not, so if not, he will be excused. Moving on to our first agenda item, our city attorney, Mike Stiff. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I do not have any agenda items, but would answer any questions.
Any questions of city attorney? Okay, thanks, Mike. Moving on to our city administrator, Jim Marino. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I've got 4 items on the agenda for you tonight. I would like to take them out of order, change the order, and take number 2 first. That's the change orders for the construction of the city center. This is a continuation of what we had discussed earlier this year, back in July. We had a meeting and the council approved appropriations to cover the costs of additional work that needs to be done. Since that time, Harbor Contractors has been putting together the actual numbers for the work, been getting prices from contractors, and we brought to you at a previous meeting a series of change orders and contracts that needed to be approved. And this is the second batch, so to speak, of those change orders that go back to what was approved on July 5th. And I provided you a list of the items that the work that needs to be done, and then the change orders, and then there's also the initial list that was put together on page 11, which is the supplementary items budget. So the change orders refer to that list. So just going over in general, the work that needs to be done is flooring, plumbing work, mechanical work, electrical, some some work for the microphones, emergency power for elevators, roofing, window blinds. So that's in general what the work is. I won't go into all the detail, but Sean Thompson from Harbor is here tonight. If you have any questions between the two of us, we can answer your questions for you.
I guess include the plumbing as well, correct, like in here?
Yes.
Unless you know, I'm not sure. I reviewed all these documents quite lengthily. I looked at everything and I appreciate everything everybody's done. But I do want one comment when I look through them. There is a thread weaving through a majority of this, of things that should have never happened. When you see that gas lines aren't up to code and things of that nature, it's very, very, very disheartening. So I just, once again, want to reiterate how sad it is that we're faced with all this again, when we should not have been.
I have one question, I guess. Back at previous meetings when we were talking about the work at the city center, I know it came up that some of the work that is being done now is to make up for shoddy work that was done the first time. And it was discussed about going back to whoever originally did it and having some accountability for the work that they were paid for, but it wasn't done properly.
Right.
How much, if any, luck have we had to have, so we're not paying for the same job twice and using city taxpayers' money to do something that should have been done right the first time?
Where are we at with what?
Well,
What's your
how
question?
much success did we have getting the work redone that wasn't done the first time at no charge, since it was their work the first time? You know, if I have something done and it's not what was requested and paid for, asking them to come back and do it again.
Well, I guess that would, maybe Sean, you can help with that. That would be work that might be covered under warranty.
Yeah, so just to answer on that, any work that was a warranty item that we felt was faulty work, they've been held responsible for that. The only item that wasn't able to do, because I later found out was not constructed by the carpenter as I thought, was for the platform for the dais. Come to find out through looking back at things and some reviews with people that it was constructed by Kirk actually at the time, and not by the carpentry contractor, which created a little bit of issue because I was kind of holding him to the fire on something he didn't do, and he finally came back to me and says, it's not in our scope, and my guy said they didn't do it. And so we dug a little further, and I believe Jimmy had a conversation with Kirk, and he admitted that he had actually built the platform. So I was hoping that would have been covered under warranty work, and unfortunately, that's the only one that we talked about prior that I said I was going to make sure was held to the fire, and I have no one to pull to the fire at this point.
Right. You mentioned that you checked in as much as it was still in the warranty period?
Yeah, anything that's like a
this
punch list or
building
warranty
hasn't
item, I
even finished yet.
I usually call it warranty because usually when you're asking
it's
people
fine.
to come back, it's that. But
What's
punch list
usually the
stuff.
time frame? I mean, a contractor in good faith should back his work.
Well, typically it's only a year. I mean, typically it's a year after completion. The uniqueness with this project is it's not technically complete.
Right.
Some of the guys, some of the trades have been done for some time, so there has been very minimal resistance to that, but so far all the trades have been pretty good at coming back. If it's something that they have messed up or we point out, hey, this should have been done like this, they've all pretty much come back and fixed their stuff. So far we've had a very good response from just about everybody across the board.
So what you're saying then, everything that we're on the list now to be done is being done for the first time, isn't it?
On that supplementary items list, yes. Correct.
So the little brick things that were mounted to the wall and taken down because they were the wrong color, then put up again and stripped down again because they were only put on sheetrock and not concrete board, who's that fall on?
Well, that falls on the tile guy that did that, but the problem with that is he was given the okay from Kirk to go ahead and install it that way.
Oh, we
So,
seem to have a theme here.
Yeah. And it doesn't, I mean, I don't know what to say. Sometimes I feel like my hands are kind of tied. I'm trying to,
And that's what the contractor told you? Or
Yeah.
Kirk told you?
that's what the contractor, I wasn't, Kirk unfortunately has
Nothing in writing, though?
nothing in writing. No, I mean, I can ask him to give me a email
there's
or
an
a written
original-
statement in writing that
The
that's
original
what it was.
proposal for the work is in writing.
The original proposal for the work is in writing, but if he's told to go ahead and install something on a substrate and Kirk's given him the okay to do it, I mean, if he's given approval to do something, it's kind of hard for me to hold him to the fire on it if someone's given him approval to do it.
No, I do understand that, but the other side of the coin is, as a professional who does this for a living, who knows that's incorrect, and that's not satisfactory, and it's not gonna last, and it's gonna come off, you should have never done. Not
Well,
only
I
was it-
agree.
Not only was it done once, but it was torn down and done twice that way.
Yeah.
So to me, that is just unexcusable. Not to you.
No,
Yeah.
I understand that.
Okay, I know, it's just
Frustrations,
very
yeah.
frustrating, very
No,
frustrating. That was a massive project.
I share in your
Yeah.
frustration.
How about all these over here that are not included? Are they coming again, or we paid for that before, or what?
What are your,
Come on, is there a sheet right here?
Some new things, John.
on the, is that, was that for the dais work?
No, this is a supplementary budget item list.
I don't know, did I have something on the supplementary items that said not
That's what we
included?
had given to them previously.
No, he was asking about something that says not included.
Yeah, it says not included, there's a lot of things on here not included in this price over here. Are they gonna come included, or did we pay for those already?
I don't believe I had anything on the supplementary
remember
items
we
that
talking
says.
about
I
that.
read But a dozen of them that said
Yeah,
not
there was
not
something
Is
on
included.
that, is that the dais budget?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
this is separate from what we're talking about. We'll
Oh,
get to
okay.
this in a
I'm looking
moment.
for it.
Oh,
I didn't see
okay,
it.
okay.
I can, do you want me to respond to that now
Well,
or
when
later?
we get to the
Okay.
dates,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mayor, I make a motion that we approve the change orders for the construction work at the city center.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, for the approval of the change order for the contract for Dias construction work. Questions or comments?
No.
Number two.
Oh, my fault. Construction work at City Center. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche,
Yes,
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
And Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, the other items on here are the dais and the furniture, and then we'll get to the fitness equipment. But those three tie into the first item on the list, which is the supplemental appropriations ordinance. So I don't know if you have a preference in which order you want to take these. The appropriations ordinance should be passed first, because that allots the money for the other items. And they're set at the dollar amount that's currently listed in what we're presenting.
So move as presented.
Second.
Are we going to say what that amount is?
Wait, what are we voting on? Number one?
What's the motion
Well-
for?
The-
Ordinance supplementing the appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2022, ending April 30th, 2023.
Right, okay. So that amount is on page 3 of the packet.
I know, but I still think the public should hear it.
Right, it's $340,156.62. So that's the work for the dais, furniture purchase, and fitness equipment.
Okay, we have motion by Alderman Albert. Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, to approve an ordinance supplementing the appropriation ordinance for the fiscal year beginning May 1st, 2022, and ending April 30th, 2023, for the cost of equipment and construction for the city center. Questions or comments? Roll call.
John Verche,
yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance 1920.
1920, Chris?
Yes.
Thank you.
1920.
That's the year you were born.
Okay, so the next item we have is the dais. As you know, the dais was discussed several times at previous meetings as far as redesigning it, coming up with a different layout, and that was approved. So now that The council decided on the layout and the materials. Harbor was able to work with the architect and get the pricing to construct the dais as designed. So what you have in your packet is the information on the contracts that would need to be approved. These would be change orders for the construction of the dais. The cost for that is $236,899. Now, that does not include video monitors, and I don't actually recall. There was a conversation about having video monitors on the back wall behind the dais for the audience to see any presentations. Was that decided that that's what the council wanted?
Yeah.
We said yes.
Okay.
Just, sorry.
Yeah.
Sean again. Just to clarify on that, what was asked is to make sure we had the setup for everything, but you guys were talking about either relocating one of the other monitors that was already purchased or purchasing those monitors later. I had already had the ball rolling on getting pricing, so I threw that in as an alternate price if you.
I mean,
just
this is
for
something we can
consideration.
always add later.
Exactly.
As long we have the,
All the backbone for
wiring,
it is there. You just
yes.
gotta buy the monitor and plug her in.
we need to move on, like, we
Yeah.
need to start.
So I just,
Get
that was
this
just
going.
I had the numbers, I just wanted to share it with you if you
Thank
decided
you.
to do it sooner or
Thank
later.
you. Yes.
So which one do you want to approve, the with or without the monitors?
Without, it sounds like.
Without, and then we'll get the monitors separately,
If
I
we
mean,
don't
need
already
to
have
get them,
some.
right?
if we need them,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, right now, there's no monitors purchased or scheduled for that wall.
There are two on the side, each side wall.
There's two on the side walls, correct, and we were talking about maybe taking one of those right now and putting it on the back wall.
And what about things like this one and the one in the hallway?
You, whatever you
I mean, isn't there a reason we could not
you
utilize
can
those?
definitely bring those over
Yeah, we can
temporarily or
repurpose those.
permanently.
I mean, put the new ones on the back wall, put those on the side. I mean, it's silly not to utilize equipment you already have. It's not that old.
Right.
Most certainly can do that.
So moved as presented, without the monitors.
Okay, but do they have to vote on each change order separately? That's what we did the last time, can they do consent? Each one individually?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, if you've got an A and a B on the one, I would say yes.
No, there's
These,
no
I
A and B
think.
on that
There's
one.
no A and B.
This is all,
I broke that out completely
They'd be
separate.
voting on this. Can they vote on those four as one motion and vote?
With one total, yeah. I mean, do we have a total?
yeah, right
Sure.
there.
Right.
Then you can do it.
Do it all
So
as
they're
one?
crossed up, yeah.
Right.
So this motion would include the change order with Cosgrove Construction, the change order with Low Voltage Solutions, the change order with Tim Electric, the contract with Michael Hutchings are the four that are included in this cost, correct?
Correct, and the total amount would be $236,899.
That's to be included in my motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, to approve the change orders and contracts for the dais construction work. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Okay, the next item is furniture. As I indicated in my memo, during several walkthroughs with staff, we identified additional furniture that was needed, that was not included in the original purchase. So in your memo, you have a list of the furniture there. And then provided from Warehouse Direct Office Interiors, they were the vendor that was selected to provide the furniture, and they provided the furniture that we already have in place. They provided the quote for the additional furniture that is listed.
So move as presented.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Albert, seconded by Alderman Verche for the approval of the purchase of the city center furniture. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you.
Did we actually vote on the change orders for the city center?
The four?
Yes.
Yeah, they were all included in the one motion.
No, that was for the dais.
You did city center already, too.
We did that.
Okay. All right. That's all I have.
Okay, any questions of city administrator?
I just have a quick question. Any update on the salary study with GovHR? You said in April
They
we were
had sent
going
me,
through that.
yeah, they had sent me some information on that, then I haven't heard back, so I have to follow up with them.
Can we get that going, please?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Jim. Public Works, we have nothing on the agenda. City Engineer, we have nothing on the agenda. Community Development, we have nothing on the agenda. We'll move on to Police Department. Our Police Chief, Ed Clark, is here. Good evening, Ed.
Evening, Mayor and Council. I have one item on the agenda this evening, and it's regarding a request to purchase fitness equipment for the new building. As you know, as part of the building, we have an area in the police department's basement that's already been built and constructed for fitness equipment. Deputy Chiefs Opiola and Dobzik both teamed together and kind of went through different pieces of equipment, got some quotes, talked to different commercial fitness companies. We had 4 companies that we looked at. What they ended up wanting to, thought was the best were 2 companies that was a combination of Midwest Commercial Fitness and Rogue Fitness. I have Deputy Chief Dobzik this evening is going to kind of go through a brief PowerPoint just so we can all understand what we're purchasing and what this means for the city. I think this is a great investment for our employees. I think moving forward and moving into this new building, I think it's a good first step to just kind of show to the employees that we want to make sure that they're healthy, their welfare is taken care of, and I think you'll see some positive effects when it comes to time off, injuries on the job. A healthier police department and a healthier city means a better workforce for the city. So with that, I'll have Deputy Chief Dobzik.
Just one quick question. When you say our employees, is this all employees or just the police station?
This is all employees, correct?
So they're all able to utilize all this?
Yes, we're going to work out hours so that we can regulate that, and all employees will be able to use it. That's correct.
Thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As Chief Clark told you, I do have a presentation on PowerPoint. I realize it may be a little bit difficult. I'll try to read some of the slides. I have just a little bit of informational items.
There we go.
All right, so we have some of these, we're just going to go over just a couple real quick basics about law enforcement, health, and wellness. Obviously, we're going to talk a little bit specifically about that, but like Chief already discussed, we're talking about employees at all. But since I'm a law enforcement officer, I'm going to kind of hit some of the highlights of this. So it says, law enforcement officers face more threats to their health and wellness than ever before. On a daily basis, their profession demands that...
Ryan?
Yes, sir.
Can you come to the speaker so
Sure.
the TV can pick you up?
Get your
All right. On a daily basis, their
Can you see
profession... Are we able to hear now? Their profession demands that they address difficult and dangerous situations, that they can injure the physical and mental health, the daily job stress, the regular encounters of traumatic incidents, and accumulated memories can lead to post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD. The burdens on law enforcement to remedy an increasing range of social problems, the proliferation of ever more dangerous criminal threats, and in some corners of society, a failure to appreciate and respect the work of American police all have correlatively strained officer health and morale. Just want to make sure it clicks on. Seems like it's not clicking. There you go. This was a report from the International Association of Chiefs of Police from their Wellness Report 2018. Talks about officers possessing poor physical health compared to the general population. Research has shown, for instance, that police officers are more likely to be obese, more likely to have metabolic syndromes, including high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excess body fat, abnormal cholesterol. They are also at increased risk for heart attacks and sleep disorder. Again, another, this was from, Chief Clark provided an article with the packet, and this is taken from that article. It talks about a 2011 study where officers compared to the general population have a higher percentage of being obese, 40 to 32%, presence of metabolic syndrome, 26.7 to 18%, elevated mean serum total cholesterol levels, 200 to 193. Just a couple more of these general information. This was something that I was kind of surprised when I read, a little scary. It says research shows the average life expectancy within law enforcement is 21.9 years less than the average U.S. male. Dr. Scheinberg, a cardiologist and law enforcement officer, set the life expectancy for law enforcement officers at 57 years old compared to the average U.S. life expectancy being 79.
Donuts.
That's a problem. They're good. So again, we're talking about the protective nature of fitness. Sudden cardiac death, obesity, metabolic syndrome, high cholesterol, and a wide variety of other health risks can be prevented or reduced by improved fitness levels. One of the articles talked about, as a department, making a commitment to health and fitness. It talked about also the correlation between health and fitness and also mental health. Peer support and those sorts of things are very important when it talks to overall health and fitness. And so we talk about, what are some ways as a department that we've kind of encouraged fitness over the years. And I have a couple of fun pictures, some blasts from the past. So like one of the things that we do is, as a department, we've encouraged our guys to take part in the police torch run. And so myself, I've been with the department since 2004, but I've taken part in the torch run since 2006. The only year that we missed was the pandemic year of 2020. But again, that's something that we've had a lot of different officers do the torch run. It's a fun thing that leads to, pride in the community, just feeling good about yourself, feeling good as a unit, as a department. This was a picture of, we started doing some jiu-jitsu training for law enforcement in reference to our control tactics, and they just talk about technique as opposed to just kind of brute force and just, that there's a better way to handle a lot of these hand-to-hand interactions, and fitness is a large, important factor in that. So we have had a long tradition of playing basketball with the department. This is way back in 2008. Some of the faces that you see here are on this picture, a little younger looking.
Yeah, like
maybe,
the chief in the middle down there.
Yeah, and so, but this has really been a neat thing. We've been playing with a number of our officers. We played in the spring, and it's just a nice way to get together and exercise and just kind of build those bonds and build that camaraderie that sometimes gets lost in the shuffle. And so the concept of having a fitness center, having a place where we as officers can get together, work out together, build up that camaraderie, and get in shape is something that is really exciting. And even to officers who it's hard to excite them, they're really excited about the prospects of the gym and the gym equipment. And the other thing that we talked about too is, a lot of us have worked out together over the years, and when you talk about peer support, you work out a lot of problems that you may be facing. If you've got stuff on the job or stuff at home, it's funny how you're able to talk out some of those things, and it really helps when you're able to work out together, talk some of those problems through. So without further ado, so over the course of the last year, we received bids from 4 companies. One company that we did contact, they wanted like $8,000 just to ship the equipment, so we said we're not going to go with you. So we're going to go over some of that. So in your paperwork, I'm not going to go line by line. I know the chief sent over some of this information. Excuse me. He sent over some of this information in the packet. So this first one that we dealt with was Heartline Fitness. In your packet, it should say that they're coming in around, I think $39,000. Some of that would be taken back. Now, at the beginning of this month, these 3 companies that I asked for quotes, I said, hey, we're going to be presenting to the council. I need your final quotes. Unfortunately, Heartline never got back to me on a final quote. So we're going to kind of go past them. Direct Fitness Solution is another one. Again, they had some good prices equipment. In looking at some of their quotes, we made a mistake because there was a piece of equipment that they included in that quote, and we're not going to need that piece of equipment. It's roughly in the ballpark of $3,600. So their quote was coming in at $33,174. That price would be closer to $29,577 because we forgot to have that piece of equipment taken out. Midwest Commercial, that paperwork is attached. This is just a rough layout. I know that you guys may not be able to see everything. We're going to have cardio equipment on this side. Again, we've got 2 treadmills, 2 ellipticals, a recumbent bike, a rower, stair climber. We've got a section here for kettlebells and dumbbells. This was an older picture they sent us that had some of this weightlifting equipment that we're going to get into why we're not doing that weightlifting equipment, why we decided to use something else. But their quote is accurate in the information that was provided to you. This next bid was from Road Fitness. So this is a piece of equipment that one of the reasons we like it is this is a piece of equipment that we can build onto. This is not going to be exactly what it looks like, but it's going to be pretty close. A lot of some of the shelving and that sort of thing we're not going to have. It's going to be a little bit more bare bones, but the gist of everything is here. One of the reasons we really like this piece of equipment is coming up here, and I have to use the mouse to get this video going.
Hey, Shamar. Good night, buddy. Difficulty. Good shot.
It works during the dry run. Unfortunately, it's not connecting now. So basically, the video shows a piece of equipment. What they're called is pulley arms, and so it's a way to use that previous piece of equipment, and it's a way for an officer to do it by himself. So a lot of times when you're talking about lifting heavy weights, you're doing free weights, you don't have that capability. If you're benching by yourself, if you don't have somebody spotting you, you can have officers get injured. But with these pulley arms, you're able to connect them and just kind of use them, and if you kind of fail out, they'll just catch on the bottom, so it kind of prevents officers from being injured. So, my apologies for that video. So the bottom line is we are looking to go with Midwest. Let me see here. The Midwest Commercial Fitness. That's our number 1. The Direct Fitness we did like. That was our number 2. One of the reasons we liked Midwest was because of the fact that we actually went and seen the equipment at the Joliet Fire Department. We were actually able to see it and get on it and say, this is really sturdy stuff. You know, and that's the other thing. We have a lot of officers of all different shapes and sizes, and so we need something that's going to hold up and last. We don't want to order equipment that's a little bit maybe cheaper in price, but maybe not last for a couple years. We want to be able to buy something that's going to last and that we're going to get some good use out of it. So that was a big reason that we went with Midwest. They're a little bit higher rated, but again, we did like some of the stuff from Direct Fitness, but they were the number 2 for us. So that's all I have.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is any of the stuff has like warranty on it? Or
Yes. So
can you touch on that a little bit?
Sure. So for example, the cardio equipment, it's important to have the warranty on it. The stuff from Midwest is got 5 years on the parts, 2 years on labor, and that's true of a lot of the cardio equipment. The elliptical, again, 5 years on parts, 2 years on labor. Same with the bike, same with the stair climber, so a lot of good stuff. And that's the other thing, when you start getting into commercial grade equipment, if you start getting into higher quality stuff, they usually have better warranties that, they'll stand behind that product. So that is the warranty information on that.
Okay. And are you gonna have like a special schedule? How, like, is this
Yeah.
gonna be like a hangout place, or is this gonna be
No.
strictly?
No, hopefully they're working out, not just hanging out, so.
No, I mean, it's just, how we gonna monitor that? Like,
Well, what we'd have is probably, we'd have hours set maybe 6 AM to 6 PM, something like that. 7 to 7, we can kind of play with the schedule to see how that's with the employees. I mean, police officers are gonna be working 24/7, so, but we'll work it out with our security measures with the new building so that we do have that access for all employees
and
to
that's
be there.
strictly for staff, correct?
Correct. So the total would be $45,032.64. That is that combination of Midwest Commercial Fitness and Rogue Fitness. I did see the Rogue videos, and I as an old power lifter, I like that anyway. I like bench pressing and that kind of stuff, so it really gets me excited. I understand and I completely can understand that this is an additional cost at this point in the game, but it is something we were planning from the beginning as we had that
Correct.
already set. So I'll entertain any questions if you have any concerns.
Do they come out and set all this stuff up?
Oh, yeah.
So as far as the cardio equipment, they do come out and set that up. Those numbers are on those quotes. As far as all that cardio equipment, they'll set that up. This Rogue piece equipment, they're just shipping out. We'll actually have to set that up, but again, we talked about different options. I think that we can make that happen as far as the complexity of that. We talked with, again, that company, Sorinex. We went to the Plainfield Fire Department to look at a similar product like this, but it was made by a company called Sorinex. And again, the $8,000 to ship it was pretty outrageous, but I think even with them, I don't remember 100%, but they were still responsible for installing. So, again, we realize that we're gonna have, it'll be a little bit of a project, but I have confidence in our guys that will be able to install it, and, again, that will technically save a little bit of money too.
We'll probably rely a little bit on Public Works to help us out.
Just call Tom Masowski out in McKean and tell him to come put it together. It's right up his wheelhouse.
Right up his alley?
Do you need a motion?
So moved, as presented.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal, for the approval of fitness equipment for the police department to Midwest Commercial for $34,998, and then Rogue Fitness equipment would be just $10,032. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Nate Albert?
Yes.
Joe Kubal?
Yes.
Scott Dyke?
Yes.
John Verche?
Yes.
Claudia Gazal?
Yes.
Tina Oberlin?
Yes.
And Mark Sepiti?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you for all your hard work on this. I appreciate that you did all this research and checked all this out, because you're going to be using it more than anybody, so. But for everybody who uses it, it's beneficial that you did all this legwork. Get that?
Thank
Can
you.
we have a picture of the chief working out?
An updated one.
An updated one.
You'll get one.
A 2022.
Yeah, it's not as slim as that one, yes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ryan. Anything else, Chief? Reports are on file. Just to let, kind of recap this year for our Cop on a Rooftop, we raised $2,952.31, one of our higher years, so I'm very thankful for everybody that helped set it up, all the employees that came out and helped support us, and for all you that came out, and the city in general. Right now, we're almost to $8,000 raised for Special Olympics, so we're doing real well there.
Great.
So, thank you. All right, any questions of Police Department? Thanks, Chief. Thank you, Mayor. Moving on to the Mayor's report, I have an ordinance amending Section 508-100 of the liquor license classifications designation for alcoholic beverages in the city of Crest Hill. As you were advised last week at the work session, a decision was made by the owner of Crest Hill Lanes and Kegler's Pub to close the establishment at 904 Theodore Street. I don't believe that Mr. Spiller, who ran that establishment for several years very well, ever recovered from COVID, so he decided to close the business. With that, it's been our procedure to reduce the number of Class A, which is a tavern liquor license in the city of Crest Hill, by 1 upon a closure of a tavern license establishment. So you have before you an ordinance amending section 5-08-100A, license classifications designated, fees of chapter 508 alcoholic beverages of the city of Crest Hill City Code to reduce the number of tavern licenses in the city of Crest Hill from 6 to 5. I would ask for a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Verche for, is that correct?
I thought it was like,
Motion by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Verche, to reduce the number of Class A liquor licenses in the city of Crest Hill from 6 to 5. Questions or comments?
I just have a quick question. How come we always have to reduce these things?
Why?
Yeah. I mean, isn't it a longer process to reduce it, then bring it back, reduce it? I mean, it is a bowling alley with the bar. I'm just trying to figure out what is the purpose.
That's
of
normal procedure that's been used for many years here.
But what is the purpose of it?
The purpose is it's so, for a Class A liquor license, the city council has to create a new license for a new applicant.
Isn't that will delay things? An
No.
example, if they're a business, I think so. I mean, if the business is gonna come, you're gonna have to say to them, well, wait, we have to go to the council, see if they approve it. What happens if the council doesn't approve it? Then you have another business that's gonna be, I always weigh on this and I'm curious why we do that.
I believe I can ask our city attorney, don't most communities do this when a liquor establishment with it, that is a tavern?
Some
Closes.
ordinances, yes, most of them do it that way. Some have a self-executing
Right.
ordinance where you don't have to reduce it. There's an ordinance that says upon the surrender of a license in that category, it's automatically reduced. And there is no need to keep coming back to reduce them, but a lot of towns do come and even with that automatic, come in and reduce it. Because that way there's nothing available in case you don't want the, if
So
there's
that's the
not an
purpose, in
if
case
there's not
you
an
don't want.
application available and somebody comes in and files an application, then they can't say that you're turning them away for any improper reason because there's not one available. And
Got it.
the council has the discretion to create one if they want.
Got it.
Well,
Thank you.
what if it's not a bowling alley? So. Okay, roll call, please.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
And Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Motion carries ordinance 1921.
Okay. That is it for the mayor. If there's any questions, I'll try to answer them. Hearing none, we'll move on to our city clerk's report. Chris Verche Hall. Good evening, Chris.
Thank you. I'm seeking council's approval to move forward on hiring an administrative clerk. As you know, that the current administrative clerk will be retiring in February of 2023. So I need to get a person in there trained to do everything that she does. In business license and all the other licenses will be coming out within the next few months, so this person needs to be trained on how to be doing all of this also. Council, this will be off of the civil service list on it. It's your decision.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion by Alderwoman Gazal, seconded by Alderperson Oberlin for the hiring of an administrative clerk in the clerk's office. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche.
Yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
And Nate Albert.
Yes.
Thank you very much, and motion carries, and that's all I have to report tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions of the clerk? All right, thanks, Chris. Moving on to City Treasurer's Report, our Treasurer Glenn Conklin. Good evening, Glenn.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have before you an agenda item regarding the approval of the Employee Relations Manager, Assistant to the Director of the Finance position. I'm going to turn it over to Lisa Benovitz at this point.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So not only are we looking for the approval of this position, I'd just like to say a couple of words as Lindsay is sitting in the audience right now. I've had the privilege to work with Lindsay for the past year. She's intelligent, she's a team player, she's mature beyond her years, she's professional, and most of all, she's kind. And these are all the qualities that a city would want for its employees relation manager / assistant to the finance director. So tonight we are seeking, first of all, approval for the employee relations manager position, assistance to the finance director position. So I don't know if we need a motion first.
We
So
do need a
moved as
motion.
presented.
If I could, if you note that the ordinance in your packet has some
Yes.
yellow highlights that I did not have the guidance on since it was not discussed at the last meeting. So I think that council's input is necessary on those aspects of the ordinance. So the question was, is this a mayoral appointment with advice to the consent of the council? And is it a direct supervision and report to finance director? And then is it a at-will position? Because that's what we did with the IT position when that was created. So that was the first question. And then the second question is with respect to 2.30.020, is the job description to be amended from time to time by the finance director only, or the finance director and the city administrator? And then the same thing with 2.30.030. Do you want it to be a joint decision between finance director and city administrator, or do you want it to be just the finance director or just the city administrator?
I will first ask Mr. Conklin and Lisa to give me their thoughts.
I'm good personally, I'll speak for myself, I'm personally okay with the highlighted changes. Assuming that, in the case of this, I guess my only hitch is that this be the line that reads the first of the highlighted section, the employee relations manager / assistant to the finance director shall be appointed by the mayor with the advice and consent of city council. I have no problem as long as we're, I guess I'm unclear on what appointment means. I mean, we've got this as an agenda item. What does appointed by the mayor mean? That he presents the job description?
Usually, in most cases, these types of appointments are brought forward by the mayor, and then the council gives advice and consent.
Are they appointed for a certain amount of time generally?
It depends on whether it's an office position, like an actual official, like a department head or a higher level.
I guess in this case.
In this case, no. This is the way it is right now is it's an at-will position, which means it's not for any term, any specific term.
So it's a typical...
It's an employment relationship.
Correct.
It's a hire, yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess the question that I beg is, are you ready to appoint for that position, Ray?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, I'm very comfortable with the verbiage as presented.
But it's a little confusing. Can you clarify appointed by the mayor, so only the mayor, an example, can fire this person?
We're talking about appointment, now we're not talking
Okay,
about...
but that's, sometimes you gotta cover, there's gray areas that I'm looking into.
It does not, this is not built in as to how you would fire somebody.
Okay, and just clarification.
No
Well, can we build
stipulation.
that in, that if this were to be, an employee would be dismissed, it would also need the consent of the council?
Well, if you want that, you can. I mean,
Yeah.
right now, it's an at-will position, which is what you did with the director of IT, meaning
Yeah, I think so.
It would be very typical to have it as an at-will. If you choose to direct otherwise, that'd be on you, but I would recommend it as is.
Is there already a motion on the floor?
No.
So move as
Oh, wait, I'm
presented.
sorry.
No, we already made a
Tina-
motion.
Tina did make a motion.
Yes,
And
I
I
need to make a
second it.
motion before we talked about it, so I made a motion.
We're still having clarifications. But since this is a finance office, why is not the finance manager and the treasurer and the administrator make that decision
What decision?
of hiring?
If that's what you want to do, you can build it in that way. I just did not have any guidance from the last meeting as to how you wanted this position to be appointed and/or approved. This is the way you did it with the IT position, which is a similar type of non-department head position. It's not an official officer of the city.
Right. Well, just like I've stated in the past, and I'm gonna state again, one person should not have control over everything. Like, what I mean is, if you have a personal thing with a staff or any member or department head, you gotta have at least another person in power to say yes or no, because you can fire, and we've seen it in the past here, people have gone back and forth and we were not even aware of it. Does that make sense, or? No?
I mean,
Okay, I'll keep my comment.
No,
No, it's at council's direction. I would,
I agree, and I think that the people in that office should have the input into who they're hiring, because it's a very specific field. You need somebody who knows what they're doing in that specific job, and you need it to be chosen and directed by the people in that position. And since she's gonna be working with HR with the city administrator, it should be the three of you, in my opinion.
It should be a
in terms of the
administrator.
appointment,
The hiring, appointment, whatever you wanna call it, yeah.
And reporting to.
The city administrator, I mean, you guys work together, the council and the mayor, we don't work with daily with the staff.
well, the way the ordinance is currently phrased, I guess I may be getting ahead of myself as far as direct supervision is finance director.
Talking about hiring right now. I mean, you should have, everybody should have. You should, it's your office, and you,
Well, what if three people
You talk
can't,
to-
what if the three people can't agree on an appointment?
well, we
Then-
don't
then you-
agree here all the time. and
Well, then
we-
you'll never get an appointment.
But correct, so if the mayor's gonna appoint that person, you have 8 people that might not agree, so nobody gets hired.
Well, then the
If we
mayor's-
all said no,
Then the mayor has to come forward with another appointment until you approve them.
Well, I guess this would be the same.
as you would with a lot of your other department, like city administrators, generally, mayor will come forth with a recommended hire. If you guys all said, no, that's not it, then he goes back to the drawing board.
and that should be pretty much the same. So the finance manager talks to the treasurer and the administrator, and you make a decision. I mean, you're gonna tell me that 3 people cannot make a decision about who's qualified for the job?
Well, they made
And then
the
you bring it to
decision
the
on this.
council, and then the council decides.
Why don't you let the mayor do the hiring, let her, since she's gonna be the boss, let her, the whole thing interview also. She knows what she needs to be done, and if she agrees, she tells the mayor, yes, I agree with this person, then he tells us, and then we vote.
What about the city administrator?
Huh?
What about the city administrator? The way you're saying it is just whatever.
Mayor says, this is the person I want.
I guess
She interviews the person, she knows what she wants, she knows the job, she does it, she says if she likes it, she says, yes, okay, you can do it, then he comes to us and then we vote.
But the mayor didn't choose this person. She brought it up, so that's why the confusion is.
There won't be no confusion then. He said he picks a person, she okays it, he tells it back to us and we do it. What's the
Well, did you
confused
pick
about
this
that?
person?
I was very little involved in the process.
So that's why I'm talking about, so.
I think it's just the way that the policy is written now. It's an appointment of the mayor with the consent of the council. That's how every non-union position here is set up structurally. There's got to be appoint person that makes an appointment. But we can agree or disagree on that appointment. We've done that before.
I would think it's no different than a liquor license applicant coming before you. I would make a recommendation, but you guys have the right to
This is
say
different,
yes or
I
no.
think. I think this is different, and I think this needs to be decided by those three people. And, you know, I hear this phrase bantered around all the time. That's the way we've always done it. We shouldn't do it just because people use it to their advantage when they don't want to, and their disadvantage when they do. Just because that's the way we've always done something doesn't mean it's the best way to do it. I think those three people should be the ones making the decision, bringing it to us for a final vote. That's my opinion. I think it should be the finance director, the treasurer, and the city administrator. The three people who will be working closely with this person in a finance office, something that they have knowledge of, and they know what they need, and they know what they're doing. So I think it should be the three of them brought to us for our vote.
But those are the three people that have brought this to the mayor for his appointment. I don't understand the difference.
But he just said he wasn't involved in this. He just told you that.
I might be able to make some sense out of this. So, in a general, or in situations previous, on these, most typically in department head jobs, the mayor makes the appointment, council has the ability to, for lack of a better term, change that or deny that. In the case of this, the mayor said he will make the appointment. So in that case, you guys choose whether or not to go or not. What you've done is you'll remove the responsibility or the authority of the mayor to not appoint. So in other words, like this whole thing could go south if mayor chose not to appoint this individual by the way your current ordinance reads.
And that's what I'm trying to get at, because he said he wasn't involved in this whole thing, very little. So what happened if right now he decide I'm not gonna make the motion, appoint her?
And not only that, what happens...
He asked me
what
the
I'm trying
question
to
and I
say.
said yes.
Okay.
It could go the other way though, potentially.
Potentially.
And what happens if after 2 years, we need to appoint somebody else to this position? I'm not saying it's gonna happen, I'm just using this as an example. Then we're back where we started from.
So you're saying you want the ordinance to say appointed by the finance director, the city administrator, and the treasurer?
Chosen by, hired by, I don't really matter what.
It would have to be something that,
Well,
and
do
the
you
way
want to
of
give them the
consensus of
hiring
those
authority,
three.
or do you still want to come before you for
Yes.
final approval?
Yes, of course.
So they are not going to be hiring, they're going to be bringing forth a candidate.
Exactly.
Okay.
We're gonna
It would
be,
be a collaboration of the key parties that are involved in that department. I mean, I think what happened here was an example of a good way, a discussion, and then given to the mayor and asked for that appointment. Because you're the experts in that field, I think you should be involved in who would be in that position.
A good example is when we hired the Community and Economic Development Director. So there was a selection committee, if you want to call it that did the interviews and reviewed the candidates, and that was myself, Steve Goldman, and Maura Rigoni, because she was involved in the planning part, Steve was very heavily involved in the economic development. So we evaluated the candidates, and Tony was the one that we recommended to the mayor, and then the mayor brought that candidate to you.
However, in the past, there have been selections made, specifically the treasurer's office, where the treasurer wasn't even consulted. And the decision was made by people who have absolutely nothing to do with finance, which behooves me to say, there might be some times when it works, but when it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And it should be a person who is right for that position. And it should be determined by people who know the job and know finances.
You're right. Now, I just gave that as an example. So the individuals that reviewed the candidates for the Community and Economic Development Director were the individuals that were involved in zoning and planning.
But you don't understand what I'm saying. Who picked the people to do that? So let's say next time this job comes up, you pull the janitor and you pull this one and you pull this one. Here, interview these people. Because we've had scenarios that were similar to that were people that had nothing to do with that position who were on the committee voting to hire these people. And it begs me to ask you, why were they in on this and why wasn't the person from that office? And what's going to prevent that from happening again? Naming these three people as responsible is what's going to make that not happen again.
So the point here is that the three of you will be involved, regardless if you bring it to the mayor or not. That's what I want to make sure, that the three of you bring the recommendation to the mayor, and the mayor will bring it to the council. That's that part that I'm looking at.
Is anyone
Is that
not okay with
included
that?
in here? Like, is that covers this, that the city administrator with the treasurer and finance manager brings a recommendation to the mayor brings it to the council, and it's a done deal?
Do you still want those three to bring a candidate to the mayor for appointment, or are you wanting to cut the mayor out of it?
No, they bring it to the mayor.
Who can choose not
I mean,
to
the-
appoint still from the three?
Well, I mean,
That's
if
where
the
the-
mayor decide not to go against the city administrator and his treasurer and his finance, there is a problem. I mean, if he took the recommendation for economic development from a higher planner, because she's not an employee, she's a staff, she's a contractor, and, I mean, and Steve Golden, they're not even part of the city, they were, what do you call them?
Contractors.
Contractors, they're outside contractors. Why he should not take the opinion and the trust of the department head, his right-handed, his finance manager, and the elected treasurer. I mean, this, you have a mix. You have elected person by the people, so they're presenting the people, and you have the city manager that he knows the city and he oversees the staff, and you have the finance that she's an expert in finance. So you have the top three bringing a candidate with the mayor. They can sit with the mayor and say, this is what we're looking for. We think this is the best candidate, just like the way, you know, Jim, you just stated earlier about the economic development. That was an example, great example. That's what you did. You did the homework and you brought with the outside consultant. This is inside. Who's going to care more for the city, the outside consultant or our own people? It's a simple thing. Can we just add these three people, bring it to the mayor, and the mayor present it to us?
So I guess the question is, I think the word appoint is, the thing that this all hinges on is that if you choose to make city administrator, finance director, and treasurer responsible for recommendation, a recommendation is one thing. Compelling the appointment is another. Is this something that needs to be appointed as a position, or can it just be recommended as it is seeming for council's consideration? I don't.
Why if I'm going in a circle? It's simple. You three of you make the decision, bring to the mayor. The mayor makes the.
All right, so what I'm hearing is.
We're not
correct,
changing anything.
that
We're
the
just adding.
Amendment would be along these lines, and I don't know whether, then you all can chime in and if this is what you want, because I don't want to speak for the majority here. So, the employee relations manager / assistant to the finance director candidate shall be brought to the mayor for appointment by the finance director, the city administrator, and the treasurer. Said appointment by the mayor will be at the advice and consent of the city council, or words to that effect.
To me, it sounds good. I
it
don't know
was
how the
very
rest, I think that covers
inarticulate,
everything. You
but I
protect
probably, if
everybody.
I had a chance to massage it, I could come up with a better way of saying it.
Better verbiage.
Yes, but
But
those
the-
are that's the
yes.
gist.
So is council's wish that if the three positions were to come to a consensus of a candidate, that the mayor would be compelled to appoint, so you would be allowed
To
to
bring
consider?
to us, yeah.
Okay.
Are you good with that?
Yes.
Are you good with that?
Make the motion however you want.
And-
I don't want
No,
to bring
but I
any
mean, we're
more, I
trying-
don't want to bring any more bad publicity to this city. So whatever you
What is the
guys
bad
want,
pub- we're not bringing
just
bad
make
publicity.
the motion how you want.
I'm asking how you feel about it. I mean, it's still gonna be the same thing. The only difference, instead of taking opinion from somebody outside, you're taking opinion from your department heads. I mean, the recommendation.
So I
And
will,
then- I'm sorry.
I will amend my motion to say,
Before you do that,
Okay.
there's two other.
Sure.
The two other changes, are we leaving that it's, that the job description may be amended from time to time by the finance director and the city administrator? Do you want me to add the treasurer into that for those two further sections? Or are those
No.
okay as currently drafted?
well, I will look to
with yellow
them for
highlights?
their opinions.
that is
It
Lisa's
should be
department.
finance and direct, and
So,
city
yeah,
service.
between the, I agree with that
Between the
amendment, the
two.
two of those to,
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
I think it's between the two of you,
You're talking
but
about
you
correct,
guys.
I don't need to be in that loop,
Yeah.
that's not mine.
Okay.
Okay. So now I think if you want to make your motion,
I will restate my motion to include everything you just paraphrased.
I will second everything was phrased.
One more time, Mike.
Oh, don't make it do that. This is good.
Could you paraphrase one more time?
all right, so under 2.30.010, which is the creation of the position, the yellow highlighted section that's in your packet would read that a candidate for employee relations manager / assistant to the finance director shall be brought forward to the mayor for appointment with the advice and consent of the city council by the finance director, treasurer, and city administrator. And the position shall report to and be directly supervised by the finance director. Employee relations manager / assistant to the finance director shall be an at-will position. And then in 2.30.020 and 2.30.030, the yellow highlighted language would stay in, that the job description can be amended from time to time by the finance director and the city administrator, and the general duties shall be per the finance director and city administrator.
Okay, as stated, we have amended a motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderwoman Gazal. Questions or comments? Roll call.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
Nate Albert,
Yes.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche,
Yes,
Claudia Gazal,
Yes,
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Motion carries. Ordinance 1922.
All right. We have a position created.
I very much want to thank you for your trust, for your contribution to the education of one of your employees, and to create, I think, a very needed position. And at this point that we have the position, I'd like to see it filled, and we have somebody in mind. So I would like, Lisa, if you'd please take it from here.
So I had prefaced my previous motion with the wonderful things about Lindsay, but she's truly amazing. I mean, she's a true asset to the city. I mean, she's going to do great things in this position because she does have a very, very warm personality, and she can connect with employees, and I think that's a very much needed quality for this type of position. So I've been honored to work with not only you, but your mother for the past year. You are two amazing women and really make the city look great. So thank you for everything you do. But at this point, I would look for a motion to approve the appointment of Miss Lindsay Cabay as Employee Relations Manager / assistance to the Finance Director.
So moved.
And Ray,
Second.
Ray, you're going to make that appointment?
yes.
Yes.
So, that was the idea, so I was looking.
And I heard three motions, so
Start all over.
So moved, as presented.
Second.
motion by Alderperson Oberlin, seconded by Alderman Albert for the appointment of Miss Lindsay Cabay as Employee Relations Manager, Assistant to the Finance Director. Questions or comments?
I just have a quick comment. I think this is going to be a great addition. You always go-getter, always smiling, professional, and I hope everything stays like that, and you give your 100%, as you always do.
Well, I'm looking for 200% because I've heard such wonderful things about your work ethic, but good luck and make yourself shine even more than you already have. Thank you so much.
Lindsay, you truly are a ray of sunshine in this building, and the days you're not here, there's a little bit different feeling. The days you are here, there's positivity, so thank you.
So no more days off.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot to put that in
You
there.
put that in there?
Roll call.
Joe Kubal,
Yes.
Scott Dyke,
Yes.
John Verche,
yes.
Claudia Gazal,
Yes.
Tina Oberlin,
Yes.
Mark Sepiti,
Yes.
and Nate Albert.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And Lindsay, would you like to come up and say anything?
I just want to preface with I'm not a good public speaker, so I had to write it down. I think those two like memorized it because I said it so many times.
So I just want to thank you,
Yes.
the city administrator, all elected officials, especially Glenn, for giving me this opportunity to grow with the city of Crest Hill. I've learned so much during my years here, I really have. I'm truly grateful for having the chance to further my education and obtaining my master's degree. I do plan to use my education and the on-job experience that I've learned here to develop this position into one that'll truly help employees grow just as I was able to. So I look forward to all the opportunities and challenges that lie ahead, and I just want to thank all of you so much for believing in me. That's it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you guys. I'm very excited and very happy about this, and thank you all for your support. I know she earned it, but it means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, any questions of the city treasurer? All right, thanks, Glenn. Unfinished business, we have nothing. New business, anybody? Committee liaison reports? Anybody? Council comments? We'll begin with Ward 1 tonight, Alderman Dyke.
Just want to congratulate Lindsay on this job appointment for, her staying with the city and furthering, her job duties here. It shows that she wants to stay here, that she wants to do a job to help the city grow as we grow. So it's glad to see an employee wanting to do that. And congratulations on your advancement with the city.
Alderman Rashay.
I have nothing to say. Congratulations, Lindsay. You know better than that. I don't want to talk. I might talk too long. Congratulations.
Alderwoman Gazal.
Congratulations again. And I also wanted to, on behalf of the Richland Music Booster, I would like to thank all the residents for coming out, for supporting the car wash, for supporting this amazing talent of the kids of music and band that I'm very proud of. We raised $1,404 just by washing cars. I also want to make a special thank to our Public Works Director, Mark Seifert, for coming out with his whole entire family and wash cars. And I'm happy to say that the city was present in the car wash. So thank you for all, and continue on supporting our schools, because when you support them, you're supporting the whole community. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderperson Oberlin.
Well, once again, congratulations, and I hope you have a very long, happy career here, and I want to hear all of these good things about you in the future. And I want to thank Glenn, the city administrator, Jim, and Lisa for all your work on this. I know you put, and I don't want to forget you, Mr. Attorney. I know you had a lot of work in it as well. And all my fellow council members for coming together too and doing this. I want to thank everybody.
Alderman Sapiti.
Well, congrats, Lindsay. I want to wish you many, many more years at the city of Crest Hill. Thank you.
Alderman Albert.
Yeah, congrats, Lindsay. Also, I wanted to announce the Crest Hill Lions Club is having their annual Luau this Sunday at St. Joe's Park. It'll be from 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. So your dad's going to work a little late that night. But we have entertainment all day long. We have our very own Ron Romero and his band, Acoustic Avenue, and the Baked Potatoes in the evening. We have a car show, a craft vendor fair that runs from noon to 5. We have kids' activities, games, and touch a truck, as well as bingo. So let's hope that we have a nice day, and we'll see everybody out there. Thank you.
Alderman Kubal.
Great job, Lindsay. Best of luck in a long career.
Public comment. Anyone like to address City Council, please step to the podium, state your name for the record. Address is optional. Let the record show no one has stepped to the podium. To our city attorney, Mike, is there a need for an executive session?
There is not. Motion to adjourn, Mayor.
We have a motion for an adjournment by Alderman Dyke, seconded by Alderman Rashay. Questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Claudia Gazal.
Yes.
Tina Oberlin.
Yes.
Mark Sepiti.
Yes.
Nate Albert.
Yes.
Joe Kubal.
Yes.
Scott Dyke.
Yes.
John Rashay.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Okay, next city council meeting is on Tuesday, September 6th, with Monday being Labor Day. This meeting is adjourned at 8:15 PM. I thank you and good evening.